How will conflict rates respond to the dismantling of an enormous stream of aid? USAID provided 40% of global aid support, and that is no longer operational. To understand the influence of this major move by the Trump administration, let's first understand where that money went. 14.2% of USAID's budget went to peace and security, and 3.2% to democracy and governance programs. Ukraine, at $16.6 billion, was by far the largest recipient, at close to 5 times the amount that went to Israel, which is the next recipient. The conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza are not determined by external humanitarian aid. The vast majority of aid to Ukraine from USAID is non-military support, while all of the Israeli aid is military support. Cutting aid won't have a drastic influence on conflict compared to the politics of those conflicts, and in fact, both Israeli and Egyptian guarantees are not expected to change. Of the remaining top 10 countries that gets considerable USAID funding and that do have conflicts, Ethiopia, Somalia, Nigeria, Congo, and Syria each receive different levels of aid, but a cessation is unlikely to influence violence rates. Why? This aid is primarily focused on providing things like food aid, healthcare, education, the running of refugee camps, etc. People receiving this aid are not those engaging in conflict, or the reason these conflicts are prolific. The governments of these countries may or may not take over providing these services. These governments are well aware that the poor and the vulnerable are the least likely groups in their countries to fight to redress their marginalization. In short, these people are not a threat to those governments. They are considered a burden. Programs thought to lessen conflict, including democracy promotion, peace building, and climate security, were analyzed and consistently demonstrated that they are not effective at mitigating, slowing, or changing the motives for conflict and violence. Overall, dismantling USAID is brutal, but unless that aid was a substantial component of a war economy, it is unlikely to affect violence rates. There will be tremendously negative effects on livelihoods, healthcare, the impact of climate change, and communities and community organization. But those very important economic and social features do not affect conflict rates, which are dictated by political competition occurring at various and multiple scales within countries.